Bridging the Gap is a project to help support people who slip through the net, so to speak, especially women who wish to stay sober and quit their addictions and be the best versions of themselves. To help and support people who are in limbo land, awaiting support from services or don't know who to ask for help or who to trust, especially misdiagnosed, late diagnosed, undiagnosed, and anyone who needs help. They might be suffering from the same traits and symptoms of autism or any other mental health condition. And you might not believe in a label, but you might still identify with some of the traits. So basically for anyone who is not having the help they deserve. Also to help people feel heard, understood, and for people to feel less alone in life and to be believed when they disclose information and to be validated for what they've been through, and to create safe spaces for open and honest conversations with aim to transcend negative experiences into empowerment and emotional and mental independence, to have the online continuity, support and trust. And don't worry about trolls. I'll be monitoring the comments, so if there's anyone being a troll, we'll get rid of them. But yeah, I'm sure there won't be anything like that. But you never know. It is the World Wide Web. Also, we need to talk about different services available and how to access them if necessary, and in an autistic friendly way, so people know what to expect and people can build up trust and be able to do things on their own because they know who to ask for the support. They might not be able to ring the Citizens Advice Bureau. They might find a phone call to a stranger on the other side of a phone overwhelming, and it might cause emotional and nervous dysregulation, therefore meltdown, burnout and more isolation, which can change your brain chemistry. So I want to talk about different ways autistic people have self-medicated in order to survive. They might have done it through addictions, codependencies, tattoos, dopamine fixes, etc. Also, I'd like to focus on the subject of tattoos because it's a safe way of harming yourself. I know that sounds absolutely bonkers, but just think, heroin addicts have it's applied in a safe environment. So if children are self-harming, why not do it in a way that's, not going to be hurting yourself to the extreme, and you have a nice picture and you might be able to transcend the bad memory into a good memory, a good experience if you've got a good tattoo artist, there's different ways people self-harm, children self-harm by cutting in obvious places or in hidden places. It could be a cry for help, but what kind of help? Is it to feel something real? Is it to push out the emotional pain? Is it something you're in control of, that is all you're doing, and you can control the intensity of the grueling emotions you're experiencing? Is it impulsive? Is it a quick escape from your environment or from the people around you? That you're not being heard, you're not being listened to, you feel like you can't escape. So we need practical solutions for predictability for the future is what most autistic people need, and children. They might not be able to verbalise this need, but it is a very common need for autistic children and people to need that. So you can't say it's attention seeking, especially if they're doing it in hidden places under the trousers with a knife. That's not attention seeking if they're hiding it from the adults in their life that are supposed to be helping them, that are supposed to be their safe spaces, like teachers and things like that. They're not going to have self-harming wounds in places where you can see if it's attention seeking. But even then, they could be in a place where people can see. But if it's an impulsive, quick escape, that's the only bit of flesh that's accessible, skin that's accessible. in that moment. So yeah, here's a safe space where there's no judgment, where you can talk with no shame. We want to eradicate shame. We want to bring down the statistics for self-harm and suicide in the world, because they shouldn't exist in the first place. And so there could be other reasons why people self-harm. There could be a mental health condition. You could be hearing voices in your head telling you to do it. But there's a different kind of voice that autistic people, when they're looping conversations from the past in their head, they might be having detrimental voices of maybe bullies from the past telling them they're worthless and that they should harm themselves, which is a different kind of hearing voices than to a schizophrenic maybe. Also, autistic people and children have a slower processing speed, so they've got more time to loop thoughts in their head, the whys, the whens, the hows, so therefore they'll have more isolation, and it will cause nervous and emotional dysregulation, and isolation changes brain chemistry. So there's other ways of self-harming, controlling your food input, substance abuse, alcohol, or you could be a Klingon, like a piece of Velcro, like a massive codependent. It's not that person's fault, there's a deep issue there that needs addressing, and we're not here to judge, we're here to transcend these things and find natural ways of dealing with these issues. Being a codependent and an alcoholic and a drug addict, you become a narcissistic treat and easily manipulated. Also, you could have brain damage. You don't have to be severely brain damaged to have brain damage. You can function totally and look normal, inverted commas. Brain damage is invisible, the same as autism, especially in high masking women. It can be invisible to a person that's never read up about it, that has got a judgmental mind. So you've got hormones in the body and things going on in the brain, and we need dopamine, we need oxytocin, we need serotonin. So we can get these things in natural ways. And for years I've been quite depressed, all my life, but I've had my dopamine fixes in different ways. I have masked my whole life and survived with my dopamine fixes, my oxytocin from dog sitting, smoothing the dog, getting all your love and attention from cats and dogs and animals, and serotonin from chocolate maybe. So there's all different kinds of ways we can get these fixes. We don't have to do it in unhealthy ways. So I'm here to help and talk about different ways. But the first things first is creating that safe space for people to have discussions, where there's no judgment and reassurance, and for people to see that it's okay to talk about it. And being as I've managed to push everyone away in my life, maybe I haven't replied to a text in 5 years, because I've been desperately working on myself. I don't want to be weak and vulnerable and easily manipulated. I don't want to land up in situations where I could relapse with my addictions. So I've been really working hard on myself. Also, I've been feeling very oppressed. And by the time I came out and thought I'm okay to come out into society, we had a pandemic, and that set everyone back a few years or worse, There's clusters of suicides around that time as well, and there's a cluster of perimenopausal women in different years. So I've got statistics from, I think, the early 90s to date, and I've noticed clusters in different areas, but I will be talking about that in a different video. But for now, I wanted to focus on the tattoos and stuff and the self-harm, because it's not attention seeking. Some people might do it for that reason, but with autistic people, it's definitely not for that reason. And although I don't self-harm, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't cut myself, I don't control my food intake to the point of becoming ill, But yeah, I do scroll on my phone, but I'm not on Facebook. My carbon copy is on there and on Instagram, but it made me feel so ill that I came off there, and it's not doing anything for me. People say, oh, I'm doing it for my business, and they sort of justify their addiction to it because we're addicted to connection, really. And that's not even addictive. It's a natural thing that everyone, when we were born, we all were in like hunter-gatherer survival mode, and we're all helping each other. You know, you go and hunt the food, you go and grow the crops, I'll cook the food, you skin the deer, I'll build the house. You know, there was all different roles for different people, and we all had different abilities and different skills we could bring to the table. Yeah, but that's gone out the window now in this technological revolution. We can call it a revolution and call it a Great Depression. And anyway, so yeah, I just want to talk about it. I want to create open conversations and safe spaces for you to feel comfortable to talk about it to online. I'm making myself available. You might not get a comment reply at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I will reply. I will check it every day. You can email me if you want to email me more private things. I can't entertain emotional, mental codependence because I'm recovering myself. I'm still working hard on that. I can signpost you to places that can immediately help, like Mind and 111 999. But if you're in that desperate need of help at that time, I'm not the person to speak to, and I don't want to claim I can help in that way because I'm struggling myself, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I know there's a lot of other people struggling in the world too, and they're not doing what I'm doing. Maybe they're still escaping and masking. Maybe they're still covering with alcohol and party and connection. I've sort of stripped down my life to the bare minimum where I don't see many people, and I've conquered my harmful addictions. And now if I don't reach out and try to help people who are suffering, the statistics are just going to get higher and higher every year. And we don't want that. We want to get to the root problem. So yeah. So I'm thinking about now attention seeking and how people are being wrongly and judged when they just need help, you know. I think I have to pause this a minute and get back to you. I'm also thinking about people who don't look autistic enough, you know. And how are you doing? Are you getting the help you need? Are you too embarrassed to ask for help because people have judged you your whole life as if you look okay? You've done things in the past and you seem to have handled it really well, but nobody sees the meltdowns at home alone. Nobody sees the burnout. Nobody sees you picking yourself up and trying to bring back all the pieces of yourself that you've lost, and trying to, you know, make sense of things in your brain and figure out people's intentions and try to appear strong enough to get back into society again. So I'm reaching out to the people who don't look autistic enough, or you don't look like you're suicidal. You were happy smiling yesterday, same as you know, there's a photograph of Chester from Linkin Park. He was smiling and laughing with his family, I think the night before or the week before he was found. Robin Williams is another one, and I can hear people in my head now saying, well, you can't compare yourself to famous people, they're a different breed. They're people, we're all human, and I don't want to compare. I don't want to make examples of people I know who have passed away through suicide, because it would be disrespectful and triggering to the families involved. And being as these famous people are in the public domain anyway, I don't think it matters that I use these people as examples, and they're pretty good examples of appearing happy before, you know, the inevitable happened. Poor Amy Winehouse, she was a victim of binge drinking, and she was clean for some time before that. So that's quite dangerous too, you know. You can have alcoholics that appear normal and healthy, and they might drink every day to keep themselves going, and somebody might not know about it. But then you've got somebody who's conquered their addictions, hasn't drunk and smoked and done anything for months, weeks, or years even, and then is at the depths of despair, is not being heard, is in isolation, is lonely, and gets invited to some place where they can let their hair down. And, you know, the only way they're going to enjoy being around people and noise is to have a drink. And then they don't know when to stop because they're numbing their senses. So that's another way people die. I've lost friends that way, and I don't know what was going through their heads. Did they do it on purpose? Did they think, okay, I'm just going to have one blowout this weekend and that'll be it, go out with a bang? Or was it, you know, an accident because we're not getting the help we need? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I've covered everything that I want to cover, but I just wanted to create a video where I'm opening up a discussion. Yeah, and it's possible that we can still be depressed, have chronic depression, and still have gratitude, moments of gratitude, you know? Yeah, anyway, that's another story for another time. Okay, please get in touch, please comment, please like, share, subscribe, and help the algorithms push the video to the people who need to see them. Maybe the ones that are isolated alone in their homes. Maybe there's people in abusive relationships, their partner might be in work, so this is their only way that they can have that connection online. So yeah, online connection is very real, especially if people are disabled, they can't leave their houses, or they're autistic, or they're waiting for services to help them. Right, I'm repeating myself now. So yeah, get in touch. I don't bite. And yeah, no judgment here, no shame. And please look after yourself. Have a glass of water, eat some food, and don't forget to breathe.